Okay. Gentlemen, I'm pretty sure we just talked about this in our previous meeting, so let's not mess around in the chat, please, and thank you. Okay. So we are doing math today. On Friday, we were able to do an art lesson. We will be doing an art lesson every Friday. But with that being said, we are back to math. So what we are doing, Rorik, I would focus more on the lesson and less on who's in the chat. What we are doing is we are working on order of operations. Again, a lot of what we are doing is review. Hold on. Rosie has lost her pen. But in all seriousness, this is something that we need to work on. We need to be able to understand, and I'm looking forward to going over it. So first things first, when it comes to order of operations is honestly what order we do things when it comes to math, how we do it. Like if I were to just write a really long problem across, in fact, let's just do it. Let's do 3 plus 7 times 15 minus 6 divided by 2 plus 3. Let's just add at the very beginning. So when we read, reading tells us to go left and right. However, when it comes to math, we can't just go from left to right. So what we have to do is we have to look at our order of operations, which are as follows. They start with parentheses. I think I spelled that right. If not, it happens. Google it. I don't know. So we have parentheses. We have exponents. We have multiplication and division. I'll explain in just a moment why those are on the same level. And then we have addition and subtraction. Now, everyone that has done math, everyone's done math or throughout their years and gone over order of operations has been told PEMDAS. And when I grew up, it was written like this. I'm telling you right now, please do not write PEMDAS or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally like this. We're not going to do it that way. The way we are going to do it is like this. And the reason is because our multiplication and our division are on the same level, and addition and subtraction are on the same level. So let me give you an example before we go back to our other problem. So the way this works, you do parentheses first, exponents, then multiplication, division, whichever comes first. So if I write a problem that says 3 times 3 divided by, no, let's do 3 times 4. Let's make this one that makes more sense. 3 times 4 divided by 2. Then I would do 3 times 4, and I would divide it by 2, which gives me 6. However, if I did, let's say I did 2 times 4, or no, sorry. I'm doing this wrong. No, I'm not. Let's say I did 2 divided by 2 times 3. Then you would actually do division first. So you do 2 divided by 2 is 1 times 3 is equal to 3. So whatever comes first when it comes to multiplication or division, you do that one first. because multiplication and division are worth the same. They're worth the same like amount when it comes to our little PEMDAS here. So if I did, 4 times 2 plus 3 divided by 3, then I would do 4 times 2, which is 8, and then do plus, and then you do your 3 divided by 3, so that would be 1. So you have 8 plus 1 is 9. Okay, and if I flip-flopped it, if I did 4 divided by 2 and 3 times 3, you would still be the same thing. So let's go back up to the top real fast and kind of make some more sense of what I'm talking about. So I have 3 plus 7 times 15. In fact, let me rewrite it down here. Let's say I have 3 plus 7 times 15 minus 6 divided by 2 plus 3. Holy cow, that's a long, scary problem. But it's not so scary when you have order of operations. So first thing I realized, I have no parentheses, so I don't have to worry about that. I have no exponents, so I don't have to worry about that. Now I do multiplication, division. Okay, so I'm just going to go from left to right and multiplication. 7 times 15. 7 times 15, I don't feel like doing it off the top of my head. So 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 3, 105. Okay, 105. Okay, we have 3 plus, and then we have minus 6 because there's nothing there. Oops, I lied. Whoa. 6 divided by 2. So let's get rid of this. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and then we do our plus 3. So we did our multiplication, we did our division first. Now we have addition and subtraction. Again, addition and subtraction are the same thing when it comes to the same level. So now that we're just going to go left to right, addition and subtraction. 3 plus 105 is 108. And then we have minus 3 plus 3. And if you subtract 3, we get 105 plus 3 gives us 108 again. So our answer comes to 108. I had a lot of 3's in there, I realize. Okay. So let's do something a bit more challenging. Let's get some parentheses in there, and I need to flip this over. And let's do another problem. Let's do 7 times 6 plus 4 plus 3 minus 6. Okay. Right. Oops, that's a B. There's no B in PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, so first thing we have to do is parentheses. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So let's rewrite our problem. We have 7 times 6 plus 4 minus 6 now. Now, this one we just kind of dive right in. Multiply. So we have 7 times 6 equals 42 plus 4 minus 6 minus 6. Okay. 42 plus 4 is 46. Minus 6 minus 6. If you want to combine those together, we could do 46 minus 12 and just make it a little bit easier, which would give us 34. Okay. Let's, once again, just up the ante, make it a little bit more challenging. So we have parentheses. I'm going to go and I'm going to add a bracket. Now, a bracket looks like this. Oops. Well, kind of. Looks more like this. But it has the same value as a parenthesis. And so do the little squigglies. These things, if you ever see them, they're just like an enhanced parenthesis. So let's get a bracket in here and make it a little bit more challenging. So I'm going to do a bracket, and then I'm going to do 3 plus 3 in parentheses times, let's do 4 plus 4, and then bracket, and then minus 7 times 2 plus, and you know what, let's add another parenthesis, 10 times 5. Okay. So first thing we have to do, is I'm going to look at the bracket. So in order of operations, we look inside the bracket, or the I forget what they're called, ellipses, I think, and then the bracket, and then the parenthesis. So inside the bracket, I have parentheses. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to do 3 plus 3, which is equal to 6. And now we have that times 8. And then this is still in our brackets. So minus 7 times 2 plus 10 times 5. Okay, so let's get our brackets out of here. 6 times 8 is 48. That is no longer in brackets. Minus 7 times 2 plus parenthesis 10 times 5. And now I've got this parenthesis over here. So let's get that out of the way. Let's do 48 minus 7 times 2 plus 50, because 5 times 10 is 50. Now we just add and subtract. Oh, nope, I lied once again. 7 times 2. Always got to make sure we have 7 times 2 is equal to 14. So we now have 48 minus 14 plus 50. 48 minus 14 is 34. Plus 50 is equal to 84. And 84 is your final answer. Now, I know that some of this stuff you can do in your head. I know, you could probably do this step and this step and this step all in one thing and not have to go so far. But I'm writing it all out so that we can see everything. And yeah, so it's just easier to do it this way rather than try to show you with all the mental math in my head. If you're capable of doing mental math and getting it to the correct answer, I'm okay with that. I just recommend that if you need to, that you show your work. Okay. So let's see. We've already done problems with parentheses. We've done them with, here, let's actually take a look. Let's just write it out. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We already did parentheses. We did multiplication. Did I do a division? I might have done. No, I don't think I've done a division yet, but I crossed it off anyways. So we haven't done an exponent yet. So let's throw a division and an exponent in there. Let's just keep making it more challenging, and let's leave the bracket in there. So let's do. I'll put the bracket on the back half. So let's do 4 divided by 2 plus 7, and then let's add our bracket, and I'm going to talk about why there's no sign right here in just a minute. And then we'll do 10 times 2 plus 10 to the second power. Bum, bum, bum. I'm just kidding. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's not the end of the world. Okay. First thing, parentheses. Okay. We have to do our parentheses first. So 10 times 2 is 20. This is still in the bracket with 10 to the second power. Now, remember, when you see this tiny little number up here, it just means that you're multiplying that number. You're multiplying 10 by itself twice. What I mean by that, 10 to the second power is equal to 10 times 10. If you do 10 to the third power, 10 to the third power, it's 10 times 10 times 10. I know this isn't a 7, but let's say I did 7 to the fourth power. It would be 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. So 10 to the second, there's 2 10s. 10 to the third, there's 3 10s. 7 to the fourth, there's 4 7s. That actually looks like a 4 at the end. There we go. That's kind of better. Either way, that's all we're doing. It's repeated multiplication is what the exponent is. So with that being said, 10 to the second is equal to 100 because that is what 10 times 10 is equal to. So we still have that in the bracket. So 20 plus 100 is 120. Now, we have this number sitting outside of the bracket. So actually, we need to leave this bracket right here, right now. Because there was no plus, there was no minus, there was no multiplication. If you ever see a number that's just hanging out right here, outside of this bracket or the parenthesis or whatever it may be, this means 7 times 120, or whatever that number is. If it was a 3, it'd be 3 times 120. But we did 7. So let's real quick do the math on the side. We have 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 2 is 14. So we have 4. Regroup that 1. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 1, 840. Okay, so now we have, if we bring our whole problem back down here, we have 4 divided by 2 plus 840. Now, we have a division problem. So we have 4 divided by 2 is 2 plus 840 is a whopping 842. And just like that, we did a quick order of operations lesson. So just to go over for review, we have parentheses. We have exponents. We have multiplication and division. Sorry, just 1 second here. And then we have addition and subtraction. And as long as you do the problems in these order, I promise, as long as you take your time, you will get the correct answer. So let's just make sure we do the problems using PEMDAS. Remember, we are not writing it like this, however. This is a no-go. I don't want to see that anymore. I used to do it, and I used to get confused. I was like, but it just didn't make sense. They were telling me I should subtract before add, and, you know, add's supposed to be before subtract, and this part's just confusing. So make sure you write it this way, and it'll make a lot more sense. Your math assignment will be posted in about 15 minutes or so. It's lunchtime for me, so if you haven't already, go enjoy some lunch, and I'll see you tomorrow.